Today, we are going to just download the necessary libraries or modules that we need for our fast API. First, let's go to File, open a folder. The folder that I'm using, I labeled it expense tracker already. So I just select expense tracker, and that's the name of my folder I have here. So we can see expense tracker coming up here when I move the mouse outside that. Alright, so this is the canvas of my VS Code. This is my favorite IDE, as I said in the previous session. So I'll be opening the terminal. There'll be three places. There'll be this place where I'll be having a display of all my settings, all my files over here, all the files that I have. Then there is the canvas, the main place where all my files will be saved and where I'll actually be typing into. And there will be a terminal where I can run scripts, especially or navigate through paths or through the files in order to run a particular script or do a particular command over there. So I'm opening that terminal. This is my terminal. It's currently at the bottom, but because of the white space of my screen, my screen, I want to move it and put it at the right side. So I'll just right click here, right click on the top section of the terminal, and then panel, select panel position and go to the right. Now it's on my right now. So I now have my screen divided into three sections. This is where the terminal will be, where I'll be running the scripts. This is where I'll be typing the code, and the files will be, and I'll be typing the code, and this is where all my files will be located. Okay. Right now we don't have any file there, but then we need to actually start with some command lines first. First, we need to understand that whatever project we are going to work on is going to be directly working on our system. We have software, we have dependencies, we already have libraries that are already installed in our system that we are using every day, your own machine. Right now, we want to isolate whatever projects we are going to do from all the libraries and things that we have on our system. So for this particular project, we are just going to create another environment for it, another environment for it, so that everything related to the project, everything that we are going to download from the project is going to be within that particular environment. So we are going to create an isolated environment for it. So we call it virtual environment in general. So we call it virtual environment. So for Python, for this case, I'm going to create a virtual environment for system. So what I will do is that at your script, when you're in your terminal, right, type Python. We call the Python first, then -m. The -m is just meaning that so this particular line is just meaning that Python, you want to run a module. You're going to run a module as a script, right? Don't worry about those terms right now, right? We are going to run a module as a script. Script is kind of different from module, but they look similar. But right now, what we are saying is that Python, we are coming to run a module as a script. So run something as a script. Run a module as a script. That's what's happening. And then the module that we'll be running is called venv, virtual environment, basically. Now, when we run this script will like us to name the folder that will contain the virtual environment scripts and every tool that will come with it. Something will be created, and then this particular script requires the name for the folder that in which it will put everything that it wants when after running the script. So I'm going to call it my venv, meaning my virtual environment. So what you put at the last is just the name of your virtual environment. So you can decide to change the name yourself, right? This a tutorial, right? I don't want you to fall into tutorial, but I want you to experience it at once, right? Maybe you can write your name and whatever, but then it's my venv for now for me, so that I can know that that particular folder is for all my virtual environment, right? So let me run it. I press the enter key. So if you press the enter key, you can see over here a folder is open called my venv already. It's already up created. But then now it's done. It's done running. So the terminal is back to me now. And I know that it is done running. So we don't need to understand everything that's happening, but we know that there's a folder. Let's collapse it and see what is inside. So there is include, there is lib, and then there's script. So each of them is a folder. The script also has a lot of things, activate file, a lot of files over here. This particular command alone from Python has generated a folder for us. So what we are just basically doing, we have created a virtual environment, but currently we are not in that virtual environment. We are in our own environment currently. We just created it, so we need to enter that virtual environment or activate that virtual environment. To activate that virtual environment, we need to do something. You need to call the name of this virtual environment. I'm going to call it, the name is my venv, right? My venv backslash. So that's backslash. After the backslash, so we are going to enter here script capital S. You see that? So that's what's going to happen. So capital S script backslash again. Then if you open this script, what we are going to have, we are going to have activate. It is this activate thing that we want to do. We want to activate the virtual environment. So we called my venv backslash script and then activate. So if I open the activate, I'm going to just type activate as small letter as it is. Activate. May this thing work? Oof. Our very first error. Our very first error. What is the error saying? It's saying that cannot be loaded. This script cannot be loaded because running script is disabled on this system. Some of you may not face this issue. If it works for you, fine. If it doesn't work for you, wait. Let's address this for people that may have this issue like I'm having it right now. Currently, your system is not allowing you to run some script because scripts directly on your system. Your system may have denied it. How do we solve this problem? So go to your, I'm using Windows, right? I hope for Windows users. So we are going to open PowerShell, right? So I have my PowerShell open. Now, first let's check our policy. So let's say get execution policy is currently restricted. So we are execution policy on this particular system is restricted. So we need to change that. So we are going to say set execution policy dash scope. Scope is capital letter. Then we say current user write remote sign, then enter, right? So and then let me check it again. So it's now remote sign. So you see that first it was restricted, but now when I run this command, I set the command to remote sign. It means that I've now set it so that I can now run my scripts, right? So now we are done. So let's close our terminal. For this one, I don't think it will work directly, but let's try it before we are supposed to close it, but then let's try it regardless and see. Now it has worked because I want to make it unrestricted, right? So now our virtual environment is activated. The same script now is working. But how do you know that you are now in the virtual environment? You'll be seeing this green thing here, my venv. So right now we are in the virtual environment. So whatever we are going to do right now, whatever we are going to download is going to be staying in this virtual environment. So we are now away from our system. Right? And we are now in the isolated environment. So our system is somewhere, and now we are in a virtual environment itself. Right. So now what we need to do now is that now that we are in this virtual environment, we need to start downloading some stuff. So see, we are going to download some libraries, modules, and all that. Right. So what happens is that we want to create backend with FastAPI. It's just like you want to cook something. If you want to cook something, you have to know we are interested in the tools that you use to cook that thing, right? So let's say you want to cook jollof, right? Yeah, you need a frying pan, or you may go and buy chicken and come, but then you don't go and sit down and now design a new frying pan from scratch before you start using it. Some people have done that already. You just use it, you just download it or use it, go for it or buy it, then you call other ones that you need. Now then you cook the food yourself, right? So that's the same way some things, libraries are already downloaded for you that will help you. You're going to download those ones, right, based on what you want to Google, based on what we want to need in the particular application. Like, I hope that makes sense. So that's what we are going to do now. First, we need to download FastAPI itself, but then there's something I want to show you when it comes to FastAPI. So to do that, we call the package Python package installer. Python package installer. So it's called PIP. pip pip. So pip install fast API, right? So I'm going to do that and press enter. Just downline pip install fast API and wait for it to download. Good. My download is done. My download is done. You can see it at the bottom here. My download is done. Let me clear here, go back to the top. That my download is done, right? When is that downloaded? Is that downloaded some libraries and some stuff that I don't know where they are. I don't know what happened to them and all that. So at the moment that I'm downloading this, all the libraries that this I'm going to be downloading, libraries are such a way that they work with versions. So currently there are some versions that I've just downloaded, but I don't know, right? And I'll be sharing this particular project with other people or different systems later on, right? So those systems will also be requiring to know which library versions I'm using, because at the time that by the time I'm done with the app and send it to other people, the people that are building those libraries may have upgraded to a newer versions or there will be version conflicts, right? So what will happen is that I will keep my versions somewhere, my libraries and their versions somewhere, so that when I send this app and share it, the those systems will now refer to the versions that I'm using and use it to run the app on their systems. So that there will not be even though there may be higher systems, they will just refer to mine. How do we store that? We are going to call the package installer again, right, to do that. So we are going to put them in a file. And the file that we are going to call that file requirement file. So it's just going to be a simple text file. It's a simple text file, right? So I'm going to do it like this: pip freeze freeze. Right now we are freezing the entire system, waiting, and then forward slash means that we are writing into something, we are sending into something. Pip freeze, we are writing into something. The freeze is currently containing all the libraries and their versions that we just downloaded, or everything that is library or module. So pip freeze, we are sending into a file called, the file is not here, but it will create it itself. Requirement.txt. Make sure you end with .txt so that it comes out as a text file. Let's press the enter key. Now you can see at my file side a new thing has been added. A new thing has been added. That is, let's open it and see. I'm opening it. So see what happened. So when I click on, I do the Python install fast API. This is what happened. It's going to download all these things for me. And right now we have the name and the versions against the versions, the name against the version, the name against the version. This is the fast API 0.115.12. So these versions are very important for at the moment that I'm downloading them. This is the version that I have. So by the time I begin to share it, right, this particular file or requirement will be following, so that systems will be referring to and be using this version to run my program for me on all those systems. So they won't be version complete necessarily. So what we did was pip install fast API. We downloaded just simple fast API. Okay. Downloading just fast API is not, we don't have everything here actually. Let me tell you the truth. We don't have actually everything here. Let me show you another version of downloading. Pip install fast API. You could download into standard. You download in the standard form. The standard is actually written inside the square bracket, right? First we just did pip install fast API. Right now we are doing pip install fast API square bracket standard. So we are downloading a standard form. So it's going to add more to the libraries that will come in. So let's go into just press enter and wait for it. My installation is done. Let me clear the terminal, go back to the top. Now what we are going to do is that we are going to still do pip freeze requirement.txt. I'm going to do this because there are new things that have been added today. Remember, look at this one. It's from line what? Line 1 to line 10, right? Let's see what this one will do. Let's enter this again because we did the standard one, so we should expect more than this number. See, when I did that, it's clear the first one and updated. This same old things are there, the same old things are there, but then what will happen now is that we now have um up to 35. So there are extra libraries that have been added to it, right? Using the standard, right? With 35. But then the recommended one that we need to do for when downloading the fast API itself is this one: pip install fast API or. So this one will download everything that comes with FastAPI, right? Almost the basic thing that comes with FastAPI necessary for FastAPI to run. They all will download everything. This is the recommended one, right? If you are doing very simple projects, maybe pip install FastAPI alone without any additional thing is good. If you want to work with the few libraries that you had initially, standard will elevate it small by let's wait for the all to also install these things. Right now it's currently at 35, right? Let's see what we have now when we are done. Great, it's also done. Let me clear it. So I'm going to freeze again so that I can send everything. Wow, now we are now up to 40. So it was 35, so we added extra 5. So now the first API or gives us the old things and added extra 5 things to it. So you don't have to worry to understand everything here right now. We'll be using them in the project. So I will be referring to you that why we downloaded them. So we just come. It's as if we went to market, right? We went to market, got fast API, a higher package, and that contains almost everything. Maybe ingredients, right? But that's when we need it, we'll come here and we will be using portions of them. So we have them stored against their versions. We are storing them in a requirement.txt file, right? These are very first one. So if I'm going to start a project next time, what I will do is that I'll just do pip install fast API square bracket or. For me, if I have or and I'm not able to use or, later I can delete the one that I didn't use, right? That's better than having a few and be lacking, right? Yes, so this is just installing the library fast API. There are extra library that will be downloading, right? I don't want to make this thing a lengthy one for you and lengthy one for all of us. I know we are happy learning. Then I will cut it here and then do another session for you and add the other libraries and explain what they will also come and do. They don't come with the fast API stuff. They are not embedded. They don't come together in a fast API package like we did right now. There are also different package that will help us do things outside of fast API. Basically, they help do other functionalities. We don't just need a fast API. We need other things to back it up because we'll be working with database, which is also a separate thing from the API itself, right? Now, let's download those extra libraries in the next section.